Hello space fairies and land mermaids and seahorses. That's the one that I am going to settle on. Happy spooky month, or if this video took too long to draw, Happy New Year 2022. Do you like my elf ears? I thought I'd try something costumey for the Halloween season, but I didn't want to try too hard because I'm stuck inside my house. I'm scared of some strange stuff. I won't lie. Top of the list, wind turbines, aircraft carriers, shipping containers, some but not all mountains. You know what I'm not scared of? Roller coasters. God, I love those big zoomy boys. Got myself an annual pass. I once went on stealth 12 times in 1 hour and now I can see time. But one of my just best roller coaster experiences probably of all time happened when the roller coaster went wrong. I will preface this by saying that this story contains huge ride spoilers, so if you are a fellow coaster nerd like myself, approach with caution. It was a few summers ago, and my friend invited a group of us to Thorpe Park for her birthday. At Thorpe Park, for those not in the Thorpe Park fandom, like some people I could mention, me, there is a ride called The Walking Dead, which is a dark indoor roller coaster themed around The Walking Dead. It's got live actors playing zombies, it's pitch black, and before you even get to the roller coaster part, you have to first go through this horror maze. It used to be an arguably superior ride called X No Way Out. It was a whole thing. Anyway, we had already been to the park a lot that year, and all the years before, and every single time, the Walking Dead ride had always been closed for maintenance, just constantly. So none of us had actually been on it or knew anything about it apart from, indoors and zombies. But this one day, this one very special day, it was open. So we joined the queue and 2 hours later, it was our turn to face the maze. A small group of about 20 of us were ushered into this series of dark tunnels with spooky red lighting and suspicious looking doors that you just knew actors with fake blood were waiting behind. What happened next was motivated by, I would say, 4 separate elements. Adrenaline, obviously the need to be at the front of the roller coaster, my hatred of jump scares, and one of our group motivated by exactly the same things, dragging me along by the hand. We ran down what was probably supposed to be at least 20 minutes of thrill-filled industrial corridors until we got to the roller coaster loading station at the end, out of breath, and a good 10 or so minutes before everyone else who we accidentally also motivated to run. You're not supposed to run. You're just not. You're supposed to enjoy that part of the ride. But we ran and we broke that system. So yeah, we got to sit at the front. The roller coaster track itself runs pretty much entirely within this huge warehouse just beyond this dark, creepy curtain. And as we pulled out of the station and through this curtain into these swoops and loops, it was pitch black. We can't even see the track ahead of us to know where we're going, and the only time there is light, it's just these quick flashes to illuminate the full-on zombies trying to climb into the car. And having never been on it before, none of us knew what to expect. We didn't know where the next scare was coming from. We didn't even know if we were upside down or not. So it was pretty tense and, a little bit frightening. And after much of the aforementioned swooping and looping, the track begins to curve steeply upwards and we start the climb for what had to be the big drop. You know the one, all roller coasters have them. So we reach the top and pull into this stretch of flat track where we slow to a halt next to some TV screens and a platform. And because I'm sat at the front, every time the strobe lights flicker, I can see the drop ahead of us, and oh boy, we are pretty spectacularly high up. As tension builds, we turn to the TVs in anticipation and anxiously try to figure out if the platform is wide enough for more zombie actors to jump scare us. My friend is gripping my hand like crazy and terror bubbles beneath the surface as we sit in the dark for what seems like forever. And then we keep sitting in the dark, and then the TV screens don't turn on, and we keep sitting in the dark. And then an ear-splitting but completely unthreatening noise bursts through the air. This noise sounds like someone trying to speak directly to us over a tannoy, but the building is so large and so very metallic that the only words we actually hear are technical issues. We sit in the dark a bit longer. Behind me, I hear one of my other friends say out loud, "I bet it's part of the ride." And then the lights come on. Seeing a horror-themed ride laid completely bare is something else, I tell you. Like, if I hadn't have known from context that I was on a roller coaster, my next best guess probably would have been building site. And now that the lights are on, we can quite plainly see that all of those zombies we passed trying to climb into the car are in fact just mannequins wearing Thorpe Park merchandise. We can also finally see exactly how high up we are. And it's pretty high. I want to say 3 or 4 stories. And just as we are all collectively coming to terms with our new reality and adjusting to life aboard this roller coaster, suddenly appears on the platform beside us a very out-of-breath teenager in a Thorpe Park polo shirt to tell us that it could be a few hours before the ride is fixed. I believe I mentioned we were in a giant metal warehouse. I did not mention it was the hottest day of the year. The hottest day of the year in a building designed to trap heat. Had we waited those few hours for them to fix the ride while we were still on the ride, they would have legally had to remove the word walking from their branding. And for this reason, Polo Shirt Teen informs us, they will need to stage an emergency rescue. And because I'm in the front row, I go first, which is how I ended up that fateful summer day, being lifted out of my seat on the Walking Dead ride, clipped to a trained rescue climber, edging past the entire car on this narrow platform just in time to hear the same friend once again suggest that this is part of the ride, and then I climbed down a roller coaster. I climbed down a roller coaster. For obvious safety reasons, only one person could climb at a time, and as I reached the bottom, a second polo shirt teen escorted me back to the loading station where 2 more sheepish-looking teens gave me vouchers. It turns out the teen employees looked sheepish because they were the ones who had to tell me that the only way out of the building is to go through a second horror maze. Okay, yep. I'm going to wait for my very terrified friend because she will not do that alone. I waited for my friend to arrive some 15 minutes later, and we both decided that the remaining 4 friends, still stuck on the ride, could pair up and do basically the same thing, and we'll just meet them outside. And so the 2 of us alone had to make our way through this second, extremely long maze of winding, blood-spattered corridors, knowing that we were probably the only people in that part of the building. And then, when we got to the end of the maze, we reached what was probably supposed to be the terrifying and immersive climax of the ride. A destroyed laboratory full of broken glass, and wires, and blood, and 2 teenage zombies on their coffee break. I nod at one, they nod knowingly back, and we leave the ride. It took another half hour or so before we were all safely back out in the sunlight on solid ground, and when the birthday girl finally emerged, we all sang happy birthday. And so that is the story of the very first time I went on the Walking Dead ride. It's also the story of probably the very last time I will go on the Walking Dead ride. Why, you may ask? Because for as long as I live, I know in my heart it will never be that fun again.